I'm the Revd Archie Coates, the Vicar at St Peter's in Brighton. I'm here with Ali Marshall. Ali has been deacon with us for a year and is due to be priested this coming year. We're in our matching t-shirts, our uniform today. Ali, just say a little bit about what's got you to this point.
Thanks, Archie. So I grew up as my dad's a vicar, and so I grew up in church, and probably in my teenage years, probably fell away a little bit from a sense of going to church. Although actually I was later on in boarding school, I was really involved in a chapel choir and things like that, and really began to find a faith in my later teenage years. But definitely a bit in the middle where I wasn't quite so sure, and then actually, funnily enough, found an amazing church and got really involved, and found my own personal faith at uni and in Oxford, and then ended up working for a church after that for a year. And then for the next 11 years, worked as a youth worker for a couple of different churches, working with all kinds of youngsters aged 11 to 18 in church and outside of church. Right from kind of going to speak to teenagers and doing Alpha at Eton, to working with kids at the local estate, and then in my job in Twickenham, running kind of youth groups for the church kids, but also for all the kids in the local area on big kind of youth centre groups on Friday night. And it was during that time on a kind of festival away that we do as part of our church network called Focus, that I heard the Archbishop of Canterbury being interviewed by Nicky Gumbel, and he spoke about making yourself available to God for ordination. And I'd never really, I'd always shied away a little bit because my dad was a vicar and didn't want to just do exactly what my dad did. But I remember in that moment just feeling really impacted and a sense of calling to make myself available. And I went up and got some prayer and started a bit of a journey for ordination. And about a year later, or a year and a half later, I got the call from the Bishop of Kensington saying that I'd got through my BAP. And that was really poignant because it was actually the last night that my dad was in his vicarage before retaring. So I was able to ring up my dad and go, it's quite a lovely kind of family baton pass. Here I am now, got ordained deacon last summer, and in preparation to be ordained priest in September. And actually, funnily enough, my little sister Nicola, who's actually 32, but she's literally just passed through BAP to start training for ordination in September as well. So strange running in the family, but yeah,
family business. Ali, just briefly, just say you've been part of the senior team, clergy team here. What are the challenges that you see as we begin to think about coming out of this extraordinary season in the next 12 months?
One of the things I've been reflecting on, obviously I don't work closely, I'm not a youth worker anymore, and for the last 3 years, one of my roles as part of St Peter's was being a student pastor, working with the students, and I am still an assistant chaplain up at the University of Sussex. And I think one of the things I really notice is just going to just have to work so hard to retain and keep our youngsters in church, and I think probably up until 13, statistically there's been a huge, a bigger amount of youth and youngsters, but that 13 to 30 actually seem to be, that's the ones we're going to have to work really, really hard with. And I can certainly see that in this time of kind of like Zoom fatigue, and especially with the teenagers as well. Working so hard over the many years in youth groups to retain them. But I think over the next 12 months, especially with the state of play that we're in, just to make sure that we're praying hard and looking to God for those areas where we're able to retain all those kind of teenagers and young people, because otherwise I've just turned 40. Otherwise we're going to get progressively older, and the church will die out, and I think we need to just work really hard to make sure that young people are coming to church.
Ali, thank you so much. We're thrilled that you're going to be a priest here with us, and we're praying as you prepare in the next few weeks.